May I come in, sir? Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir.
How are you, Prerna?
I'm good, sir. Thank you.
प्रेरणा, मुझे अपने कोई लाइफ के 3 इंसिडेंट्स बताओ जो आपके नाम को डिफाइन करते हो।
ओके सर। सर पहला होगा जब मैंने एक साइंस स्टूडेंट होके ह्यूमैनिटी सेलेक्ट किया था 12th के बाद। वो अभी भी इतना इज नॉट अ प्रेफर्ड ऑप्शन, आई वुड से, ह्यूमैनिटीज आफ्टर साइंस। तो आई थिंक दैट वाज वन ऑफ द डिफाइनिंग मूवमेंट। एंड सेकेंडली, जब मैंने पहली बार अपनी एंडोस्कोपी कराई थी अकेले जाके हॉस्पिटल में, आई वॉज 18 years old एंड देयर वाज नो वन विद मी, सो आई वाज स्कैर्ड, बट वो ज़रूरी था तो मैंने अकेले किया। एंड तीसरा, जब मैं जर्मनी गई थी स्टूडेंट एक्सचेंज के लिए, एंड आई वाज वेरी हैप्पी अबाउट इट। एंड पहली बार आई वुड से मेरी फैमिली से किसी ने अब्रॉड ट्रैवल किया, सो दैट वाज वेरी इंस्पिरेशनल फॉर मी।
तो प्रेरणा आपके लिए है कि आप इंस्पिरेशन ले रहे हो, आप इस दुनिया को क्या इंस्पिरेशन दे रहे हो, वो कौन से 3 इंसिडेंट्स हैं?
सर पहला होगा जब आई लॉस्ट माई फादर and it seemed that everything around me has collapsed. It was difficult to bounce back, but I did. So I think if someone is still in a similar position as I was, I can inspire that person that there is an opportunity, you can always bounce back. Secondly, जब मैंने graduation में पढ़ाई शुरू की sociology, I was not well. I couldn't keep well for like 3-4 months, and I thought I'll quit the studies, I'll move back home. It was thought that I'll do engineering because I was a science student, but I fought back. I stayed back in Delhi. I took care of my health and I started studying sociology. So that was another time. And third would be when I was working as HR with Vedanta. It was a well-paying job. It was a good job, but at the same time, I was not happy with what I was doing. So one day, after thoughting about the kind of work I'll do in the future, I decided to quit the job. So if someone is in a work where they are not happy, they can get inspiration from me and quit their job.
हाय, क्या आप भी आईएएस की तैयारी करना चाहते हैं? क्या आप पीसीएस की तैयारी करना चाहते हैं? बहुत दिनों से आप स्ट्रगल कर रहे हैं, लेकिन इसके बावजूद भी आपको सफलता नहीं मिली। भागदौड़ करने के बावजूद भी आपको कोई सॉल्यूशन नहीं मिल रहा। सिर्फ आपका टेंशन बढ़ रहा है, आपका पेशेंस जवाब दे रहा है। इसी टेंशन को दूर करने और आपकी हर एक समस्या का समाधान लेकर आए हम, यानी ओजांक गुरुकुल कैंपस। यहाँ हम आपको सिखाएंगे आईएएस और पीसीएस जैसे एग्जाम की तैयारी कैसे आसान तरीके से की जाती है, कैसे डिसिप्लिन फॉलो किया जाता है, कैसे अनुशासन रखा जाता है। अगर आप भी चाहते हैं हम आईएएस और पीसीएस बने और अपनी जिंदगी के सारे सपने पूरे करें, तो अभी ज्वाइन करें ओजांक गुरुकुल कैंपस। बिकॉज when we support the word selfless, the whole universe will support you endlessly.
एक गर्ल की लाइफ में उसके फादर का क्या रोल होता है, क्या इंपॉर्टेंस होती है?
So I would say a father is the first male figure in a girl's life. It shapes the image of what a man is, a man can do for the girl. It's not just about being a support system. It's a part of your identity. So my father is a part of my identity. He was my protector. He was my first teacher, my mentor, my best friend. So there are many roles. I believe a father figure, a father is a very important part of a girl's life.
अगर सब कुछ इतना अच्छा है, वो आपकी आइडेंटिटी है, तो सोसाइटी के ऊपर पैट्रियार्कल का आरोप क्यों लगता है?
So it depends. ये इंडिविजुअल टू इंडिविजुअल डिपेंड करता है। जब मैंने बोला कि फादर एक आइडेंटिटी है, ये फादर की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कि उस आइडेंटिटी को कैसे निभा रहे हैं। देयर आर फादर्स हु आर वेरी एनकरेजिंग ऑफ देयर डॉटर्स। आई वुड से माई फादर वॉज वन ऑफ देम, बट देयर आर फादर्स हु आर नॉट, and the way they behave with their daughters shape the identity of their daughters. So it is very important on the part of men how they are behaving, what kind of image they are forming for their girl.
Right. Up to you.
So Prerna, I'll continue from the last question. पेट्रियार्की पे ही बात करते हैं।
Yes, ma'am.
आपको क्यों लगता है पेट्रियार्की एग्जिस्ट क्यों करती है?
मैम, पेट्रियार्की एक सिस्टम है। वी लिव इन अ सोसाइटी where there are power dynamics. So patriarchy is also a part of this power dynamic. The thing about patriarchy is that it gives men more power than women. Now, power can be used for good also. But again, because it varies from individual to individual, we have seen that some people, or rather, let's say more than 50%, use it for demeaning the woman. So that is why patriarchy is problematic. Having said that, patriarchy is not just about men versus women. Patriarchy affects men also. It affects third gender also. So it is a power dynamic, it is a power structure where men are given invariably a larger share of the power.
Do you think patriarchy can also, you're saying patriarchy exists among men, it also exists among third gender. Do you think can patriarchy exist even amongst women?
It does, ma'am. There is a concept called as patriarchal bargain. So where women also, they bargain to get some power over other women. And so it's definitely about power dynamics. It is power dynamics amongst the gender, within the gender. It's about how you keep slightly more power for yourself over the other.
Okay. So, Prerna, I see that you've done sociology from Miranda House.
Yes, ma'am.
What is so great about Miranda? We keep hearing that it's #1 for many years. Tell us about it.
Firstly,
As an outsider, not as an insider.
Okay. When I was preparing, I was in 11th and 12th. I've heard about Miranda being one of the great colleges. And I'll tell you my personal experience. When I was in 12th, I met someone, my friend's sister was from Miranda. And when I saw her, I met her, the personality she had, it attracted me towards Miranda House. When I went into Miranda, of course, it has brilliant professors, it has great infrastructure, it has inclusive infrastructure. But the thing about Miranda is, it was like a safe space for me. It has helped me to learn a lot, how to be a good student, how to be a good friend, how to hold the leadership positions. It has taught me all. So Miranda for me was like a cocoon which nurtured me, which helped me to become a good individual. So
Suppose if you're trained that well in Miranda and you are aspiring to become, to go into civil services.
Yes, ma'am.
What qualities? You're talking about inclusion, you're talking about leadership, you're talking about living in a cocoon, giving you that confidence.
Yes,
okay?
ma'am.
Suppose you are in an office in a small district, you're posted. वहाँ पे गर्ल्स कॉलेज है, गर्ल्स कॉलेज में रैगिंग होती है. ओके. कई इंस्टेंसेस हैं जहाँ पे पब्लिक लिंचिंग भी हो चुकी है. Okay, being a sociology student, being trained into inclusivity and all these things, how would you deal with these things?
There would be two ways I'll go about. The first would be the short-term method. In short term, there should be no tolerance towards ragging or any lynching in any form. So there has to be some strict rules for that and some punishment for that to create a deterrence. But having said that, I believe these are the problems that alone cannot be solved with rules and regulation. So in the longer term, there has to be debate and discussion about it. There has to be awareness which has to be spread.
जो भी organizations होंगी, वहाँ पे rules तो exist कर ही रहे होंगे. ऐसा तो नहीं है कि आपको वहाँ पे rules नहीं होंगे.
Definitely,
rules exist कर रहे होंगे.
Ma'am, it's just not about framing the rules, but it is also about implementing those rules, monitoring that these rules are implemented properly. There is a grievance redressal mechanism. If someone is facing ragging and she complains about it, it is the job of the authority to ensure that that grievance is redressed in a proper manner, in timely manner rather. So that I will ensure that it is implemented in a time-bound manner.
Okay. Last question. What do you mean by social mobility?
Ma'am, social mobility is a concept that talks about how a group of people can change their position in the society. Because we believe that society is divided into different strata. It could be gender, it could be caste-based. And when one group gets some social power, let's say education, skill, there are chances that their status can be enhanced. So when they move from one strata to another, it is called as social mobility. Having said that, there are also instances where a group of population can move in the downward direction also. So it works in both ways. It can be upward movement also, it can be a downward movement also.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
So Prerna, you are from Jharkhand, right?
Yes, sir.
So why Jharkhand is not able to develop despite having such large coal reserves and despite being a separate state? What are the reasons according to you?
So as you rightly pointed out, Jharkhand has 40% of India's minerals. But the same minerals which are asset for Jharkhand are its liabilities also. So there is a resource curse in Jharkhand. There are minerals, but there is also illegal mining. Because these mines are located in the lands of tribals, there is an issue of land acquisition. There is a problem of displacement of tribals. There is a problem of pollution because of the mining activities. Having said that, apart from these, Jharkhand lacks diversification of industries. So 80% of the population of Jharkhand is still in agriculture sector. We need to diversify our industries. And thirdly, there is a political instability in the state. So after being formed in 2000, for 24 years, there has been only one government that was able to continue for 5 years. And that shows the lack of stability. So this is another problem which Jharkhand is facing.
Why will anyone come to Jharkhand to set up an industry?
So Jharkhand is a land of opportunities also. Firstly, the minerals. 40% of India's minerals, largest coal reserves in India. Secondly, the population of Jharkhand is young and dynamic. The average age of the population is 26. So Jharkhand is a land of demographic dividend also. And thirdly, the government is doing a lot. There are policies which the government is coming up. For example, the industry and innovation policy of Jharkhand, where they are facilitating single window clearance, they are facilitating through subsidies. So the government is making efforts, and Jharkhand is again a land of opportunities which is waiting to be explored.
Can you name different types of coals which are there in India?
So firstly, the abundance which is there is of bituminous coal. Bituminous coal is known as the second quality coal.
Just name them.
Anthracite, bituminous, litmus, and peat.
Okay.
So
What
lignite, I'm so sorry, lignite.
What percentage of India's energy requirements are fulfilled by coal?
So I'm not able to recall the exact number, but I'm sure it is around 60 to 70%, a large section.
So you have done your student exchange program from Germany.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me 2 or 3 observations about society of Germany which you observed?
Yes, sir. It was a very learning opportunity for me. One of the things which I observed, a very simple thing. When I was traveling with my German friends, and there was a red light on the street, while there was no cars which were going on. So I suggested, why don't we cross? And she said, no, that is not the rule. It's a red light, so we cannot. So the way they have inherent these rules and regulations, the civic consciousness, that was first thing that attracted me. I really admire that. I think we can learn from that. Secondly, their social infrastructure. So in Germany, the state takes the responsibility of its citizens. There are many good old age homes. We visited one of them. It has state-of-craft infrastructure with facilities. A lot of old age population was living there, giving all the facilities. They had the opportunity to interact with the same age population. So again, because in India, not currently, but in future, the old age population is going to be increased. So we can learn that also from them. And thirdly, I interacted with one of the police person in Germany, and I can see in their uniform, they had a camera which was attached, which ensured that they are performing their rules and regulation, their responsibilities in a very direct manner. They are not indulged in corruption. It ensured that. So I really like that idea, the body cam idea.
Can a country like India afford so many body cams?
So definitely in near future, it is an idea which is difficult to implement, but we can think in that direction. Because when you have a body cam on the police officer, it makes sure that they are reminded of their responsibility of treating each and every citizen in equal manner every day. So this is an idea to be explored. I'm not saying in immediate future we can do it, but something we can think about.
Okay, so you have opted IFS as your second choice.
Yes, sir.
So let's say you have to identify 3 areas where we can enhance our cooperation with Germany. So what will be those areas?
So firstly, it would be in the area of renewable energy. Germany is doing a lot in terms of EVs and renewable energy. So India can interact and cooperate with Germany in that direction. Secondly, the industry academia linkage. What I observed in Germany, the industry academia linkage is very good. And in India, we need that. We have seen reports where we are told that our engineers, our MBA graduates are not skilled enough. So we need to learn that from Germany where we can cooperate. And thirdly, we can cooperate in some defense sector also, because Germany has state-of-the-art technology and India can use that technology for its favor.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, Prerna.
Hello, ma'am.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. My first question to you is like can you quote me some famous personalities whose diaries have been published, since your hobby is diary writing?
Ma'am, as far as I can recall, The Diary of a Young Girl is very famous. Mahatma Gandhi's diary, his autobiography, My Experiments with Truth, is another famous one. And Jawaharlal Nehru's diary, The Discovery of India, is another most published, most read one.
Okay. Tell me about this. I want to ask Giorgia Meloni, you know who she is?
Ma'am, she is the Prime Minister of Italy, if I'm
Yeah.
not wrong.
So recently she was awarded Man of the Year award. So how do you see when women, even when they accomplish something, they are being termed as man? How do you perceive it from sociological lens?
As you rightly pointed out, ma'am, the idea that even if a woman who is so accomplished, she is doing great job for her country, is termed as Man of the Year, shows that on some level, we are putting men above women. So even if women achieve everything, we call her the man. Similarly, when we call Rani Lakshmi Bai Mardani, because we associate the term Mard, man, as the powerful one, as the superior one. This is problematic. It needs to be called out. She could be the woman of the year. She is the woman of the year. So the term woman has to be associated with the superior. Women could be superior. She does not have to be men to be superior one. So this particular title for me is problematic.
Can it be that we can just make it Person of the Year, because there's also third gender?
Definitely, ma'am. To make it more inclusive, we should look towards terms like Person of the Year, Individual of the Year. These are better terms which are suited.
Okay. You mentioned that you changed your streams from science to humanities. Why is it that humanities is still not preferred that much in India?
Ma'am, I believe this is about perceptions. So there is a perception that when you take a technical course, let's say engineering, because we have to learn about new technologies, about numbers, it requires a higher intellectual level. But with humanities, it's about society, it's about politics, it's easier subject, it is easier to learn. And this is a perception. So the perception is that if you have been a good student, it is automatic that you will study science. And if you have not so been good in studies, you will take humanities. So this is about the stereotypification we have done in our society, which needs to be done away with. In my personal experience, when I started studying sociology, it was very difficult for me to understand. It was a new subject. It requires a whole new mindset to understand. It took me at least a year to come into that mindset, to learn about sociology. So again, these myths have to be busted.
Is it just about perception or employment opportunities as well?
Ma'am, it is also about employment opportunities, because nowadays we see that mostly technologically enhanced employability is there. The service sector contributes to India's more than 50% of the employment also. So it is, again, the perception is that if you are studying a technological field, there is a better chance that you will get an opportunity in India and abroad. But having said that, there are opportunities in humanities subject also, which people are not very much aware of. You can go for research also, you can be an analyst. So there are opportunities. We need to spread awareness about this.
How can a humanities student contribute to, say, something like service sector or in technology?
Ma'am, having studying humanities does not mean that we cannot study about technology. The impact of technology
No, my question is that not studying technology, their field. You have studied sociology. So tell me, what will you contribute in AI or data science?
Ma'am, since AI is an emerging field, we don't know the impact of AI on society, on individual. And that is where the skill of a sociology student will come. Is it a constructive technology? It is a destructive technology? How it is impacting the society, different strata of the society? That work a sociology student can do in a better manner. And we need to understand that to fully accept the technology also.
Okay, I'll give you an example. You have to analyze the data of people, let's say, going to a mall in Delhi. They are collecting data. From sociological point of view, what would be the criteria or parameters you will use? And what conclusions will you draw based on that?
we can start the collection of data by looking at the purpose why people are visiting the mall, and the purpose could be again divided into, are they going for shopping, are they only going for window shopping, are they going to meet their friends and have a good time, or there are people who sometimes just would like to roam around. So they can be divided into different parameters. Secondly, the mall culture. We see in mall a wide varieties of options are available, but does the consumer have the ability to buy all these? And what different strata of consumer also, what strata of consumer goes to the mall and which buy the most product from there? Thirdly, we can divide into gender aspect also. Are the females going to mall or not? Are the third gender allowed in the similar manner as, are welcomed in a similar manner as men and women? Does women have the capacity to buy what she wants, or she is dependent on her male counterpart? So these are the few parameters I'll collect data on.
Okay. Who is Gail Omweth?
Ma'am, she is a sociologist. She's a foreign-born sociologist who took Indian citizenship. Her major work included on the subaltern perspective. So she has worked with subaltern, Dalit, and their perspective.
Okay. My last question to you. Do you think Miranda House should be made co-ed?
Ma'am, personally, I like Miranda the way it is, and I would not support being it a co-ed college. Having said that, there are advantages of being in a co-ed college also. But Miranda, the environment it offers to the female candidates, the safe environment, the inclusivity, the confidence, the opportunity, I would still like to remain it to be a girls' college. That is my perception.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
एक लास्ट क्वेश्चन है,
जी सर.
नेम 3 days इन कंटिन्यूएशन जिसमें ट्यूसडे, थर्सडे और सैटरडे ना आए.
So yesterday, today, tomorrow.
Good. It's time for feedback.
Okay.
तो हमारा जो फीडबैक है आपके लिए, एक पहली चीज आपने एक छोटी सी बस गलती की, आप आए और बिना पूछे आप बैठ गए.
Okay, sir.
थोड़ा सा कंपोज रहने की जरूरत.
Okay, sir.
हैंड मूवमेंट में भी आपने बहुत टाइटली अपने हाथ को बहुत ज्यादा कस के रखा हुआ था, उसको थोड़ा सा नॉर्मल कर सकते हो. बाकी तो सब ठीक है. मैम, आपका ऑब्जर्वेशन?
Yeah, she was very calm, very composed. और आंसर्स अच्छे थे. बहुत ज़्यादा बैलेंस आउट करते हो आप हर चीज़ को. बोलते हो, बैलेंस करते हो, बोलते हो, बैलेंस करते हो. There's no harm in sometimes taking a stand.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay? हर चीज़ को बैलेंस करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. आपका व्यू पूछा जा रहा है.
Okay,
आप
ma'am.
बोलो. ठीक है? So जो चीज़ बोली, that said, and then balancing. That said, then balancing. You can think about it.
Okay, ma'am.
So you are a very good candidate.
Yeah.
You really nailed it. But the thing which ma'am said, that you don't have to balance out everything or don't have to sound neutral in everything. For example, ma'am asked that science students get more job opportunities. You said no, it's about perception and this and that. It is true that science students have, in an AI company, you will have one sociologist, right? But you have 10 or 15 engineers. So that is true. You don't have to defend that also. No, everything is fine in this world. It is like that, it is like that.
Okay, sir.
Other than that, you are a very good candidate. You have command over everything. Just prepare Germany and all those things more. We don't have the time to ask, but you are a very good candidate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Prerna, I would like to applaud you for your articulation. I think you're a very well articulated person. You have actually answered almost everything to the point. My one observation is when you're talking of, since you're a female, it's natural that you will be asked questions about women and all. But talk about gender, and you also have to be neutral in
Yes,
that
ma'am.
sense. Like when I said man of the year, she should be woman of the year.
Oh.
You could say person of the year, because now we are going beyond from male, female to trans also.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
that aspect.
Yes, ma'am.
Other than that, I think it was very well done.
Also, in answering the Miranda House question, you said it is safe, and so
Yeah.
don't go into that.
So,
It is
yeah.
unsafe
And
in
cocoon.
the outside world.
You know,
Cocoon.
you're going in a service
Yeah.
where you want to be the leader of the place.
Yeah.
So don't use these words. You're looking for protection, you're
Yeah.
looking for
Okay.
cocoon and safety and inclusivity. Leadership bola apne ek cheez, but you were also NSS vice president.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Hmm.
so and even Prerna wale question mein jo sir ka tha, the answers were not very impressive.
Okay, ma'am.
ओके
Okay.
कि सब्जेक्ट चेंज करना इज नॉट अ प्रेरणा.
Okay.
आप एनएसएस का कुछ ला सकते थे उसमें. You must have done
Bring
many
something from
activities.
your experience, what you
Okay.
have
You know,
done.
when you were, you could have quoted कि मैं एनएसएस की वाइस प्रेसिडेंट थी, I did this.
I'll prepare better answers
Yeah.
for that.
In that question regarding Miranda becoming poet, you could have said that is easier for parents, girls.
No, and another thing again, same. Sorry to jump in, but with Miranda not becoming co-ed, the thing which is very important is that we are getting first generation college goers
Yes.
now in girls colleges. If we make it a co-ed, this opportunity will be lost for the girl. So the emphasis of the government and of the society is towards women education.
Okay.
So the answer has to be very well articulated. This was a little weak answer.
Okay.
ये ऑब्जर्वेशन थी हमारी कि जैसे आप अपने नाम को जस्टिफाई नहीं कर पा रहे हो, तो और एक बार और भी जब मैंने आपसे दूसरा भी क्वेश्चन पूछा था और आपके फादर का क्या एक रोल है, तो साइकोलॉजिकली थोड़ा सा एक प्रेशर देने के लिए होता है और उसमें आपने एक आइडेंटिटी वर्ड यूज कर लिया और फिर आपने अगली ही लाइन में पैट्रियार्की पे आपने उसको डिफेंड किया कंप्लीटली, आपने रिवर्स कर लिया उसको. तो ये थोड़ा सा ध्यान देने की आपको बहुत जरूरत है.
जी सर.
क्योंकि आपकी जो एकेडमिक नॉलेज है गुड है, कंपोज है,
जी सर.
लेकिन कुछ ऐसी चीजें हो सकती हैं जो आपको थोड़ा सा परेशान कर सकती हैं. बाकी तो बहुत अच्छा, और मैं चाहता हूँ कि इस बार आप फाइनलिस्ट में, हम सभी ये चाहते हैं कि आप
Yeah,
फाइनलिस्ट.
definitely. Which attempt is this?
So, ma'am, fourth. Yes, ma'am.
But you
First
have very
interview.
good chances.
Thank you, ma'am. And I was not prepared for the personal questions, so when you started asking, I got little discomfort.
एक्चुअली आई एम एन एलपी एक्सपर्ट, तो जब आप अंदर आए तो उतनी देर में हमने जज कर लिया कि आपके चलने के तरीके से कि आप कितना कॉन्फिडेंट हो. तो हमें क्या आपका डैप पढ़ने के बाद भी पता चल गया आप कहाँ जा रहे हो, क्या कर रहे हो. आप मिरांडा से हो तो ऑब्वियस ही बात है कि आपका एकेडमिक बैकग्राउंड अच्छा होगा. सो जनरली एक साइड पे सोचने की वजह से दूसरा साइड जो होता है वो ओपन हो जाता है.
जी सर.
मेरा फर्स्ट अटैक भी वहीं से हुआ और आप उस ट्रैप में आ गए. बाकी मैं आपको ये अपने नाम को लेकर जो है वो बहुत अच्छे पॉइंट्स बताने की जरूरत है.
जी सर. I'll prepare the
थैंक यू
answers.
सो मच.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All the best.
हाय, क्या आप भी आईएएस की तैयारी करना चाहते हैं? क्या आप पीसीएस की तैयारी करना चाहते हैं? बहुत दिनों से आप स्ट्रगल कर रहे हैं, लेकिन इसके बावजूद भी आपको सफलता नहीं मिली. भागदौड़ करने के बावजूद भी आपको कोई सॉल्यूशन नहीं मिल रहा. सिर्फ आपका टेंशन बढ़ रहा है, आपका पेशेंस जवाब दे रहा है. इसी टेंशन को दूर करने और आपकी हर एक समस्या का समाधान लेकर आए हम, यानी ओजांक गुरुकुल कैंपस. यहां हम आपको सिखाएंगे आईएएस और पीसीएस जैसे एग्जाम की तैयारी कैसे आसान तरीके से की जाती है, कैसे डिसिप्लिन फॉलो किया जाता है, कैसे अनुशासन रखा जाता है. अगर आप भी चाहते हैं हम आईएएस और पीसीएस बने और अपनी जिंदगी के सारे सपने पूरे करें, तो अभी ज्वाइन करें ओजांक गुरुकुल कैंपस. बिकॉज when we support the word selfless, the whole universe will support you endlessly.